We are back here on the frontier between Egypt and Libya. It is July 1977. We have a mechanized infantry and tank company, or mechanized infantry company and tank company, Egyptian, attacking from west to east. Defending, we have a company minus of Libyan T-59 tanks and two dismounted Sager teams up here on these hills. This is a modified version of Scenario 14, Hellfire Pass Revisited, from the game Test of Arms, which is part of the first battle series by GDW. It's the start of turn 2. The Egyptians have the initiative, so they choose turn order. Now, they've just come in contact with those dismounted Sager teams and lost a loaded BMP-1 in the process. That's the smoking wreck right there. So because of their exposed position, they are going to go ahead and take the first player turn. So we have first fires. Well, first we have command control, and we might as well recall where we have our leader. So here's the tank company commander right here, and the mechanized infantry company commander is right here in the center of his formation. So all units are within 5 hexes of a leader, so all units are in command control. Now we go to the first attacks, and actually we have something. This BMP here is concealed. This BMP here is concealed because it's in the woods here. It moved up into the woods. It's armed with a Sager, and these T-59s up here on the hill are not concealed because they're just in open terrain. And so the BMP is going to sacrifice its concealment to fire a Sager and try to take out one of those T-59s up there on the hill. So this is a first attack. When the BMP-1 fires its Sager, it will not be able to move because its movement allowance is highlighted in yellow, showing that it has restricted movement, meaning that it fires or moves in a turn, but not both. When it uses its missile armament. If it uses its gun, which is the 3-2, it can still move as normal. But it's going to fire its Sager. So first thing to do is the Libyan player is going to roll for target selection. Now, we have two T-59s, and always top to bottom. We go top to bottom. Rolls of 4. So 1, 2, 3 is the top T-59. 4, 5, 6 is the bottom T-59. So we know that it's the bottom T-59 that's getting shot at. It is frontal armor. It's frontal armor because the Sager is that way. So the Sager has a missile attack value of 6. Right here, the small 6 there, range of 16. The range is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, so there's no range issue. So it's 6. Defense value of the T-59 is a 5. So 6 to 5 or 1 to 1. So the Egyptian BMP-1 rolls a 5. That's not good. We want low numbers. and it is a miss. No effect. Now, I'm going to go ahead, each of these Sagger-armed BMP-1s for this game have only 2 missile attacks, and then they're done with their missiles. So I'm going to write down the BMP-1's unit identification, 121, 121, and show that it's fired one of its missiles, its Saggers. So it loses its concealment. I can take that off, and I will mark it as firing. Otherwise, so I'm looking at these T-62s on the hill here. They are at elevation 0, 1, 2, 3. So they're at elevation 3. Yep, and they're looking straight down at the same target, same T-59s. The T-62s have a range of 6. So the range to those T-59s is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So it's just barely within extreme range. And they are. I was thinking about this before. Yeah, I won't discuss that now. So both of the T-62s are going to fire at that stack. So again, we do hit determination. We have 2 T-62s firing at it, so we do it twice. So that's the top unit. The top unit has 1 attack against it, and the bottom unit has 1 attack against. So it's 1 against the top, 1 against the bottom. The T-62s have a gun attack factor of 8. So at extreme range, we're going to cut that in half, down to 4. As before, when we fired the missile, the T-59s have a defensive value of 5. So 4 to 5 or 1 to 2. 1 to 2. So, oh, that's what we wanted, a 1. 1 to 2, 1 is destroyed. So we have 1 lucky hit against the top T-59, destroys it. And next one is a 2, which on the 1 to 2 column is a damaged. So we take a damaged marker like that. Okay, so over here on our stack here, so the top T-59 was destroyed, and so you can put a destroyed marker there, and the bottom T-59 was damaged, so we put a damaged marker underneath the second T-59. He's still in firing position. Doesn't change. And then these T-62s, we'll go ahead and mark them as fired for this turn. And I think those are all the first attacks, not too bad. It's all the first attacks for the Egyptians. Then we go to movement and enemy reaction fire. First thing we're going to do is going to move these guys over here. These guys are going to try to move forward to the woods or this gap here. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So the Saggers can range to right about here. So the T-62 here is moving beyond the Sagger range. So 1, 2, 3. Doesn't have enough to enter the woods. That costs 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to try and go right up here, the high ground. So maybe next turn we can spot with some artillery. Now the BMPs, loaded BMPs coming down the road there, they need to do something about their situation as well. Right away they're going to try to turn around or turn sideways, come around here and use that low ridge line to mask their movement. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. One, still out of range of the Libyans. 2, 3, 4. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that'll be all the Egyptian movement. Now then we have the last attacks for the Egyptians. Another Sagar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So this Sagar right here has maximum range to that same stack, and is going to fire a missile at that stack. So we have just the one damaged T-59 left there. The BMP-1, oh, rolls a 1. Yeah, destroyed. So another T-59 down. Mark that Sagar by unit ID 113. And that was last attacks. Now the special rule for World War II mines. Units moved, the end of the turn, he rolls a 2. Not the right result for the World War II mines. That is, each player should roll a die every turn at the end of his movement phase. Oops. Should have done that before those last attacks. If a player rolls a 6, he must make a separate die roll for each of his units that moved. Another roll of 6 means that that unit suffers an immediate mine attack. Alright. So that's the end of the Egyptian turn. And switch over to the Libyans. The Libyan leader is right here. This is the Libyan leader, centrally located, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And these ones are in command control range. I left the dismounted Sagar teams to be on their own for command control reasons. I decided that they only have 2 Sagar attacks and then they're done. So partly for that reason, I decided that I would have them exempt from command control rules. So that's command control phase. Now we go to the first attacks. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. They did not move. I forgot for the Egyptians. It's BMP1 fire but did not move, so it can go into firing position, and I think those ones didn't move as well. So I'll put them in firing position. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, so the Sagar team back here could fire at the BMP there, but being in woods, the missile attack factor of the Sagar is going to be halved. So that's too important to risk on a half-factor shot. Want to save those Sagars for units caught in the open, if possible. So no first attacks for the Libyans. So now the Libyans go to movement. First of all, I want to move this tank so that maybe he can survive. He'll try to get down to the nearest cover, which would be this wood forward here. So he'll go 1. He loses his firing position because he's moving. And then we'll see if this Sagar in firing position can see. Yes, because there is no terrain that's higher than both. There's no blocking terrain, and there's no blocking terrain including elevation higher than both. So the BMP is going to fire its second Sagar at the tank that just tried to move. Yeah, so 6 against 5 is 1-1. Ah, 6 on 1-1, there's no effect. So that BMP1 is now done for his saggers. He has made his 2 missile attacks for the game. And the tank moves on, so 2. Isn't that interesting? It says restricted movement, units that fire their weapons. So unit with restricted movement factors cannot fire and move, or move and fire in the same turn. But do they mean player turn or game turn? Huh. I don't even know about that. But the yeah, there's a BMP1 over here that can take a shot. This one right here. And why wouldn't it try to hit the tank before it gets to cover? Oh, rolled another 6. Lost or wasted Sagger attack there. So I'm going to record 1 missile attack from BMP1 unit ID 132. Huh. So now it's 2. I'm sorry, 3. And 4. Any other movement? That's all Libyan movement. Oh wait, yeah. Now Libyan last attacks. So I'll see if this dismounted Sagger team can hit the BMPs in the hex there that just fired at the tank. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Just barely. So there's no blocking terrain. So yeah, it's going to take a final or last attack option. Ooh. And these BMPs only have a defensive factor of 1. That is really bad. So we have 2 BMPs. So the Egyptian player has to roll for target selection. It is the top BMP. Wow. So this is 6-1. Yeah. Eliminated top BMP there. The destroyed marker in the counter in the hex, and also record that Sager fire. Dismounted Sager Team 002. A last attack, and that's it for Libyan last attacks. And that is the a Libyan tank moved. Oh. And their Libyan player rolls a 6. So how does that work again? One more time. Each player roll a die every turn at the end of his movement phase. If the player rolls a 6, he must make a separate roll for each of his units that moved. Okay, that makes sense. Another 6 means that they're hit with, so only the one T-59 moved. Ooh, 4. So he's not hit with a mine attack. Now that's the end of the second turn. Now we go to the third turn. Back to the initiative player, but first, now we have a leader that can see targets. So the leader in tank 100 is now looking over pretty much most of the battlefield, and that leader is going to spot or call for fire. So take a look at artillery for test of arms. I don't think it's that different, if at all, from Battlefield Europe, but let's see. Fire mission, request at the beginning of the turn, result at the end of the turn. Each artillery unit available may shoot 1 fire mission per turn. For time is available. So really, in game terms, there is no reason to not constantly, if you're going to have dismounted units in the open, there is no reason to not keep them constantly moving. Players record target hex in secret on a piece of paper. It's all the same. Who's spotting? Who is forward observers? In order to plot a fire mission, the player must have forward observer, see the target being attacked, and can communicate with the artillery, which is firing. All leaders can be FOs. Yeah, so that's it. But if the Sagers fire, then what about movement? Then we get back to is restricted movement no movement during the player turn or the game turn? It almost seems like it would be game turn. Yeah, it does. Because they can fire in the opponent's player turn. Well, yeah. I guess it would be game turn. Again, need extra information markers, it seems like, at the least. Alright, so the leader would try to target that. So alright, so offboard artillery is targeted. Then the initiative player, the Egyptians, decide turn order. Again, they're going to take the first one. Certainly when they're in the attack, why would they not? Other than trying to get 2 back-to-back turns. But no, they're going to They're going to take the first turn. Okay, so first attacks. Oh. Alright, so here's, let's take a look. Well, let's take a look at this actually. Move the pieces aside. Take a look at this line of fire right there. So, yeah, it's open. Just looking for shadow hexes. I don't think the shadow hexes apply here because the line of fire goes right on this side of this line, this side of this hex side. So that is a blind spot, but that is not a blind spot to the unit here. Now see the range. Well, you can fire up to 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11. So again, 2. Yeah, we'll take some first attacks. I got to distribute my fires. Well, they don't have any other vehicles to see, so both of them will fire at that T-59. Extreme range, so we take their gun factor of 8, cut it in half to 4. Against the front armor of the T-59 of 5 is 1 to 2. 1 to 2. 5 is a miss. And a 6 is a miss. So they both miss. I do mark them because now they cannot fire in the last attacks phase. Incidentally, these tanks cannot fire at the same T-59. First of all, I should have declared it before rolling the first ones, but also the friendly units in this hex that the line of fire passes through blocks that fire. I think that's all. That is all for first attacks. Now we go to Egyptian movement. We're going to pick up our movement again here. So the T-62 moves into the woods for 2 and at the same time immediately becomes concealed. So 2 and 4. 2 and 4. And concealed. That's as far forward as they can go while still staying in command control range of the leader up here. So the leader is not going to move, which means that they get to... It's always a question of when to do this. I guess I'll do it now and just try to remember. Not too many stacks on this one map sheet, so they're not moving, so they get a firing position. Which, by the way, they got a firing position last turn too, but now they're going to move forward 2. Now this one can move forward. No, it can't because of it's still facing down this dismounted Sager team here, down the valley. So I'll go to this force again. That's a question. BMPs can't really advance at all while you have unsuppressed, undestroyed. Yeah, forget the last one. Unsuppressed Sagar teams up here. So do they wait? I think they do wait, actually. They just wait for some other way, because it's just too deadly. This one's moving back here. Wait a minute, that doesn't even give them any shelter from a unit that's at a higher elevation. Huh. Yeah. So really, they need to get up and out of sight as well. So really, I chance it, which is not a good way to put it, but one, and then one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So the dismounted Sagar team in firing position is going to, let's do this. Let's say he takes advantage of his shot. So Sagar 6 to 1. Yeah, 3. Boom, gone. Okay. Now I see a little bit of how. So another lost VMP, and we destroyed marker, and then we mark the dismounted Sagar team because he will not be able to move in his turn. Need to remember that. Then, can the next BMP make it to cover? 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, kind of, yes. Kind of. Again, suicidal move. 1, 2, 3, 4. Say right about there. 4. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, so he does make it to cover. There. Yep, that's it. And then we go to Egyptian last attacks. Egyptian last attacks. But see, they've moved, so they can't fire their Sagars. Have to remember that. So do I mark them? I guess I do mark them because they're movement restricted. And he cannot fire because he fired in the first attacks phase. So that's it, actually. Yeah. Now we go to the Libyan. Oh, wait a minute. Forgot again. Units moved. So I have to roll for World War II mines. I rolled a 6. So all the units that moved. That's why I should have marked units that moved. Who else moved? Alright. Alright. I'm not sure I remember. See, gotta have different markers now. Let's just say these guys moved. If they didn't, I can't remember. 2 T62s, but let's exercise the rule. So when I went to roll, well, I guess it's each individual unit, so it was only the top T62 then. The top T62 gets hit by World War II mines, a special rule, a special scenario rule. So let's go to mine attacks. Mine attacks. Mine attacks both sides indiscriminately. The player must be sure that if he enters his own secret minefield, he declares the fact and resolves the attacks against his own troops and vehicles. Mine attacks are resolved on the 3-2 column of the combat results table. Units are attacked immediately as they enter the mined hex. All units in a stack are attacked individually. Okay. Vehicles can only be damaged. An X result should be treated as a D result. Troops are attacked normally. The 3-2 column. 3-2. Okay. I am going to say it's against the flank armor. Oh wait, it doesn't matter. It's the 3-2 column. Okay. 3-2 column. Rolled a 5. Actually no effect. Alright, so it's that. And then Libyan. Man, I need extra markers for this. There's too much to remember that is not marked. Alright. Libyan. Player turn. Command control is fine. First attacks. Okay. Nothing. This one. Now, can he fire a second Sagger? He fired one Sagger during the opponent's movement phase. So he cannot move during the turn, which I'm guessing is the game turn. Now it's his player turn. Can he fire again? I mean, strictly speaking, there's no limitation that I can think of in the rules. So does he just lose? I guess he loses his second Sagger. Well, strangely enough, well, I don't know if strange is the right word, but because of the simplicity of these rules, he can actually fire at these guys, because I guess one way to look at the elevation rules is that all of these slopes are actually very, very gentle slopes. There is no blocking terrain between these. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I guess he's going to fire. He's going to fire his second Sagger at the BMP there. It's a devastating top. Yeah, still a destroyed. These Saggers are perhaps a bit too deadly, but at least they're limited. So now 002 has used up both of his Sagger attacks. But took out another BMP 1. Egyptian 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And the Egyptians are already 2/3 of the way to their hesitation point. Huh. Okay. First attacks. Why are these guys marked? Well, I guess he's marked because he moved. He wouldn't be firing anyways. Why are these guys marked? I guess I should have come off at the end of the player turn. No. So the last Sagger. He'll save his Sagger for a BMP, a loaded BMP. So in a sense, because of the elevation rules, no. I guess it is important to be higher than, well, I guess it does help to be at higher elevation across the board. I guess that is all the first attacks for the Libyan player. So Libyan movement, tank definitely is going to move into. Now this is something that unclear. It's not clear that when a unit moves, it actually gets to move a complete hex before the opponent gets reaction fire. See how it's worded in these rules. Reaction fire. Your attacking units in firing position can attack with reaction fire during the enemy move phase. At any time during the move phase, a unit in a firing position can reaction fire against an enemy unit which has been spotted, to which a line of fire can be traced and which is within range. The attack takes place immediately before the target unit moves another hex. If the attack is successful, the target unit receives a result which at least prohibits the unit from moving any more in the move phase and may be more restrictive. Alright, well, Libyan tank moves 2 movement points into the woods, immediately becomes concealed. I guess I mark him as moved, although it doesn't help because I can't distinguish all these markers, but I do need to mark him because I'll be rolling for World War II mines. Okay, so this unit can move, and he is going to move because now he's going to be moved. Now he's going to move defensively to avoid artillery fire, which is good, but at the same time, because he moves, he loses his firing position, which means that he is not firing, obviously, during the opponent's movement phase. All right. Oh, he moved too, so he should be marked. That's the end of the movement phase, so I roll for World War II mines. Roll a 1. So nothing. Go to last attacks. I don't see any. I don't see any last attacks. Okay, last attacks. Done. Now we're at the end of the game turn. Now we resolve the artillery fire that was plotted. It was this hex. I guess the unit couldn't have moved out even if it wanted to because it fired. So now it gets hit. The artillery. I grab burst marker. I had a hard time finding earlier. Obviously I should have set it aside since it's so ridiculously hard to find these burst markers. Wherever they are. Wherever they are. They're in here. Finally found them. There they are. So they're on the back of an infantry unit. Alright, so they burst marker on the pre-targeted hex. Now we execute the artillery attack. HE. Troops are attacked on the 1-to-1 column. They have nothing. They have no terrain benefit. No, they don't. Wait a minute. This is field artillery, so 1-to-2 column. That isn't too bad. Alright, so it's 1 Sagertine. So, no effect anyways. So, oh, now we go to salvos. How many salvos? I should have copied that down. Wait a minute. "12 salvos. I did write that down. 12 salvos of HE. It's field artillery, which means that the rate of fire is 3, which means that why would I not fire again? I'm going to fire again for a second. There we go. So 2 rolls a 2, which means that he is pinned. Take a pinned marker. That pin marker. Okay, it's pinned. And then what? The burst marker stays there because more than one salvo was shot. More than one salvo is fired, the marker is left in the hex throughout the next turn. Okay, end of game turn 2. I'm sorry, end of game turn 3. When we start turn 4, the Libyans, interestingly, the Libyans already lost 4 morale loss points. 1 more morale loss point and they hit their hesitation point, but they're the defender, so it doesn't make any difference that they lose the initiative because they didn't have it. So they don't have it. And like I said before, the Egyptians are 2/3 of the way to their hesitation point. So this has been a See It Played video for Test of Arms.